Hey guys, I'm Nick, and on this episode of the Scran Line, I'm going to show you guys how to make these tiramisu macarons. So tiramisu, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's like an Italian dessert. It's delicious. Combination of chocolate, coffee, and you've got mascarpone. Traditionally, mascarpone is featured in there somewhere. Now these macarons are a coffee macaron, and they've got chocolate dusted on top. I've got my cream cheese frosting mixed with lots of mascarpone in there, and then in the center is some chocolate sauce. These are like little bites of heaven. They are delicious. You guys have to try them. These are the ingredients you need to make them. Okay guys, so the ingredients you're going to need are some almond meal, sugar. So I've got my egg whites, which I've just separated from the egg yolks for about an hour. This process is called aging your egg whites, and it helps them whip up better. So there's two 110 gram bowls of egg whites. You're also going to need some vanilla extract, some caster sugar, cocoa powder, some instant coffee powder, some mascarpone cheese, water, and I was going to use sponge finger biscuits, but that was a little bit of overkill, so I used chocolate sauce instead. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're going to start off by popping half of our almond meal and half of our powdered sugar, and we're going to mix that in a food processor. Then we're going to repeat this process with the rest of the almond meal and powdered sugar. If you don't have a food processor, you can sift these ingredients together using a sieve. You'll need to do this about 3 times. Now we're going to transfer that mixture over to a large mixing bowl. We're going to make a little well in the center and add our first batch of egg whites. Now you want to mix this, and at first it's going to feel like there's too much dry ingredients and it's never going to mix, but keep mixing and it'll form a paste. We're going to cover that with some plastic wrap and set it aside. Now we're just going to make a little bit of our instant coffee. So we're going to grab 2 teaspoons of water, which we're going to use to make our syrup. We're going to add that into the instant coffee, microwave it for about 10 seconds just to help it mix and dissolve properly. And you want to set that aside. Now we're going to move on to making our syrup. So add your water and sugar into a small saucepan. We're going to use a candy thermometer for this. You will need a candy thermometer to make this recipe. So we want to get our syrup to about 115 degrees Celsius before we put our second lot of egg whites into our stand mixer. You can use a hand mixer as well. We want to get that nice and frothy, and then we will reach 118 degrees Celsius. We're going to very slowly and in a thin and steady stream pour that very hot syrup into our egg whites while the mixer is on high speed. Once you have it all in there, you want to continue mixing for a couple minutes before you add your vanilla extract and that coffee mixture from earlier on. We're going to stop the mixer and scrape down the bowl just to make sure everything gets flavored evenly. And then you want to continue mixing for another 3 to 4 minutes. Now, once it looks nice and thick and glossy and you can turn the bowl upside down and nothing comes out, you know it's done. We're going to add 1 spatula full of that meringue mixture to the almond mixture from earlier on. And we're going to mix that until it's really well combined before we add the rest of the meringue. Now, this is the most important part in making macarons, guys. This is where everyone goes wrong. Some people count the amount of times they mix. I think that's silly. I like to get a spatula, go around the bowl with a spatula and then through the middle, and that's how I mix. Now that helps deflate our egg whites. Now you want to continue mixing, and when the mixture falls off the spatula in a ribbon and disappears back into the bowl after about 10 seconds, that's our ribbon stage. That's when you want to stop mixing. We're going to dab some of the mixture onto our baking tray and then line this with some baking paper. I fitted the end of my piping bag with a round tip, a medium round tip, and we're going to pipe these about 3 centimeters wide. We're going to gently tap the tray just to allow any of those air bubbles to come out of our macarons. Then we're going to dust some cocoa powder on top. Now you want to lightly dust this, don't go too heavy. We're going to let this dry for about 30 minutes, and if you can touch the piped macarons and they're not sticky, then they're ready to bake. You're going to bake these on 160 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes. Once they're finished baking, let them cool down completely before you try taking them off the tray. So I'm using my cream cheese frosting. You can find the recipe for that on my website, thescranline.com. We're going to add a generous amount of mascarpone cheese to that. We're going to mix it until it's really well combined. I'm using a hand mixer because I don't want to risk softening this cream cheese mixture too much. I've fitted the end of a piping bag with a small round tip. I'm going to pipe little droplets of that beautiful cream cheese frosting on my macarons. We're going to fill the center with some chocolate sauce, sandwich it with another cookie, and guys, that is pretty much it. Okay guys, so those were my tiramisu macarons. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. You're going to find the recipe on my website, thescranline.com. Link for that is in the box below. I know I promised you guys a Q&A answered video this week. It's being postponed. It's going to have to come during the weekend or beginning of next week. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you all in the next episode of the Scran Line.